In case you're wondering, that music is from the Halloween special event on CTE made by DICE LA. But anyway guys, so today I'm going to go over some of the major updates on CTE. First of all, let's talk about the prototype updates, which means they're only strictly for testing purposes and will most likely either have a lot of tweaks or they may be dropped altogether. Included in the prototype update is a fix for head glitching, which does work well, but it does have a lot of negatives, and there's a new system that stops you from spawning on squad mates that are currently being suppressed, which I'll talk more about later. But in terms of other updates, the attack helicopter physics have been improved, which I'm sure you may have seen a couple of videos from other YouTubers showing off the attack heli physics, which enables you to do some various maneuvers you previously couldn't do. And you may have heard me talk about this in my previous video. Console players can now access CTE on their PC if they have premium, which I'll go into more details later in the video. So let's talk about the head glitch fix. Head glitching is a problem in pretty much every FPS game. Various developers have implemented ways to avoid the issue, but unfortunately, head glitching in Battlefield 4 is pretty bad. Luckily, the fall patch got rid of the sudden head flinching to try and help us kill head glitches, but it's still a massive issue. So DICE LA have implemented a new flight path on some of the weapons, which makes the bullet start off lower than the barrel and then it quickly travels back up to its intended flight path. So as you can see, with this enabled, if I'm standing behind a typical head glitching object, and you can see the bullets are hitting the top of the object instead of the bullets magically going right over the top and into my target. Let's compare it to Retail BF4, same weapon and I'm standing in the same position. The bullets in Retail BF4 are traveling right over the top of the object, which from the enemy player's point of view, it looks like the bullets are flying out of my head. So we can see the head glitching fix in CTE does work. But all I need to do is take a slight step back, then I can shoot over the object perfectly fine again, which exposes my head and body a little more to my target, but I still feel like this gives me a huge advantage. Also, this brings on another problem because your bullets start below the barrel and fly upwards to its intended flight path. You'll see here the bullets are actually landing just below my crosshair. Of course, once I start shooting at a longer distance, the bullets will be hitting where my crosshair is, and that's because there's been enough flight time for the bullets to go to its usual flight path. But this can be a big problem because if someone close pops up around a corner and you aim for the head, the bullet might actually completely miss. So the head glitching prototype fix does have its advantages, but it has a lot of negatives. I don't know what DICE LA plan to do because to completely fix head glitching, either someone needs to come up with some genius idea or the devs will need to lower all the objects and walls that enable the head glitching. Moving on to the attack heli. To be honest, I'm not a very good helicopter pilot. I rarely use the attack heli, so I can't really appreciate this improvement as much as a dedicated attack heli user would, but I did give it a go, and as you can see, you can now do a barrel roll and you can also do a complete flip, but it does result in you losing a lot of altitude, so if you do attempt to try this, make sure there's enough space between you and the ground. So if you watched my last video, I talked about console players gaining access to CTE on their PCs. So how it works, if you own premium on your console and you also own a PC, then you can go to the CTE website, log in with your Origin account, and you should be able to download CTE on your PC using the same account that has premium on it for your console. Just remember, as long as you own premium on any platform, you can sign up for CTE on your PC. Of course, not many console players also have a gaming PC. If that's the case, don't expect to get crazy performance. You might need to set the graphics to low, and if your PC can't handle Battlefield 4, then you can at least get access to the CTE forums as well, where you can suggest ideas or maybe participate in the already existing discussions. I've had people say to me, what about the actual CTE client for consoles? Well, I don't think that's ever going to happen, to be honest. The whole certification process takes way too long, and because of that reason, DICE would need to get self-publishing rights for the consoles, which means all the CTE updates won't need to go through certification and they can be deployed just as quick as on PC. I'm not too sure what a gaming company needs to do to get self-publishing rights from Sony and Microsoft, but I imagine it's rather difficult, so honestly, I don't think the CTE client will be coming to the consoles anytime soon. So the NETCODE had some tweaks to make the system more efficient on how it handles the high frequency updates. First of all, the high frequency bubble around your soldier includes friendly and enemy players, but on CTE it only includes enemy players, which seems logical, and I can understand how this may help server load and whatnot. There's also a high frequency update cone when aiming down sight, which should help long range gunfights, and there's a lot of other tweaks here and there, like improvements to packet handling, which overall should result in a lower latency. But have I noticed any difference with these updates? Well, honestly, I haven't noticed any changes. Latency is still exactly the same for me, but in saying that, I haven't been able to play on a full CTE server yet, so I imagine these improvements may become more obvious when a server is being stressed out by a full 64 player match. So, squad spawning has had some changes. You can no longer spawn on squad mates if they're being suppressed. It's still in a testing phase, but this was brought in to fix the issue of when spawning on a squad mate that's in a heavy gunfight, and well, you pretty much die straight away, which I'm sure we've all experienced. You might be thinking though, well, that's a player's fault, and yeah, I do agree, a large chunk of it is a player's fault, but with the new system it won't happen anymore. However, I don't like how it just stops you completely from spawning. I do like how it visually tells a player if your squad mate is in combat with a red outline and the in combat warning in the preview window, as you can see here, but ultimately I want the choice to spawn anyway. Anyway guys, sorry for the delay on this video, I had some internet issues, but make sure to let me know what do you think of these CTE updates, leave it in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.